still remember that day. The one that etched itself into my memory like a scar you can't ignore. I was a kid, maybe 16, standing in the kitchen while my parents looked at me like I just declared I was quitting school to pursue a career as a professional clown. They laughed hard, not a polite chuckle, but full-on dismissive guffaws. My mother shook her head, eyes narrowing. That's junk. You're wasting your time on trash. They called me the girl who plays with old stuff, the one who's going nowhere, and embarrassing to the family. Every word felt like a punch in the gut, but I held my breath, clenching my fists, because deep down I knew I wasn't just playing with trash. I was dreaming with my eyes open. I saw beauty in the discarded, meaning in the forgotten. While they saw junk, I saw a future, a way to turn scraps into stories, and stories into something real. That was the beginning, the moment I was told I'd fail, that I'd be nothing, that my passion was a joke. I was mocked, dismissed, and thrown aside as the black sheep of the family. But inside, something refused to die. The rejection became my fuel. In the years that followed, I poured myself into my craft, upcycling old furniture, fabric, and metal into unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. I started small, selling at local markets, but my true breakthrough was when I launched my online store. I named it Revive and Thrive. It was raw, imperfect, and filled with the echoes of my relentless hope. Every product told a story of resilience, of rebirth, of the beauty hidden in what others discarded. They laughed at that too. My parents called me deluded, said I was throwing away money and time on a ridiculous hobby. My father told me I'd never make it. "You're just wasting your life on trash," he said. "You're embarrassing us." But I kept going. I worked tirelessly, learning the ins and outs of online marketing, branding, packaging, things I'd never been taught, but knew I had to master. I faced rejection after rejection. Retailers didn't reply, customers returned items, and the algorithms of social media kept choking my visibility. Every setback felt personal, like a slap in the face, but I refused to give up. And then it happened. A trendy retail brand, one known for eco-conscious products, discovered my little store. They reached out, wanting to collaborate. Suddenly, my tiny operation was on shelves in boutique stores across the country. The validation hit hard. I was no longer just a girl playing with junk. I was a legitimate entrepreneur, a creator whose work resonated with people who valued sustainability and authenticity. Success didn't come alone. It was a victory not just for me, but for every time I'd been mocked, dismissed, and told I was wasting my life. It was proof that passion, persistence, and faith in your vision can rewrite your story. Now I was finally coming home. I hadn't been back in years, not because I didn't want to, but because I'd wanted to prove. I wanted to show my parents that their junk was gold, and I knew I had to face them, to stand in front of the people who once called me a failure and show them what I'd become. The day I arrived, the house looked the same old porch, the same tired garden. But inside, everything had changed. My mom was in the kitchen, peeling potatoes, her face lined with the years of worry and pride I'd never seen before. My father was in the living room, flipping through his newspaper, eyes flickering with curiosity and something else. Respect, maybe, or disbelief. I carried a box of my latest creations, upcycled furniture, handcrafted decor, things I'd never shown them before. I placed the box on the table, heart pounding, and looked at their faces. Then I took a deep breath and said, "Mom, Dad, look at this." I unfolded a piece, a chair, painted in vibrant colors with intricate patterns I'd hand-carved. I turned trash into treasure. I built a business from the ground up, from what everyone else thought was worthless. There was silence. My mother's eyes widened. My father's jaw tightened, then loosened, as if he was trying to process what he was seeing. And then, slowly, my mother's hand reached out and touched the chair. You did this?" she whispered. "Yes," I said, "I did." In that moment, everything changed. Their dismissive expressions softened. They looked at me, not as the foolish girl they mocked, but as someone who had fought against every doubt, every insult, and every obstacle to become something. I saw the pride they had buried underneath years of judgment. The scene was unforgettable. A family witnessing the tangible proof that their harsh words had been wrong, that their junk had become a symbol of resilience, creativity, and triumph. And in that moment, I realized something profound. Their rejection, their mocking, had almost broken me, had almost made me give up. But I used that pain to forge my path. I turned their skepticism into fuel. I turned junk into joy. Now, standing there, successful, fulfilled, and finally accepted, I knew I had won, not just in business, but in life. I had proven that the worth of a person isn't measured by others' opinions, but by their ability to rise above, to transform rejection into redemption. I looked at my parents, and I saw in their eyes a glimmer of understanding. Maybe, just maybe, they saw me not as the foolish girl who played with trash, but as the woman who dared to dream, and made that great the greatest victory of all. Because sometimes the greatest triumph isn't just in the success itself, but in the redemption, the moment when those who doubted you finally see your worth. When they realize that what they once dismissed as junk was in fact the foundation of everything you became. And I knew deep in my heart that I'd carry this lesson with me forever. Never let anyone define your value. Your true worth is in your resilience, your courage, and your unwavering belief in yourself. Because in the end, even the junk can become a treasure if you